I really need to organize this crap. So what do we got here? We got grinding discs, more grinding discs, chain clean, grinder. No, hey guys, welcome back. Today's episode, we're talking about 3D printers and what you need to get started. Catch us after the break. Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Andrew and this is the Make It and Break It YouTube channel where we take motorsports projects and show you guys the entire gamut, from design to building to sending it somewhere, doing something cool on a racetrack, on a dirt track, on something like that. So today we're doing part 2 in our 3D printing basics series, and in part 1 we covered what 3D printing is, kind of what kind of 3D printers are out there and what they sort of do. Today, what we're going to cover is kind of the basic parts you need to get to 3D printing, the basic components, the basic tools, that sort of stuff. And it's actually a surprisingly small amount of things, physical things. So we're going to cover that today for you to kind of get you a jump start. Keep in mind that these are supposed to be short, kind of digestible, small intro videos. This is not supposed to be the be-all, end-all of 3D printer starter guides where we cover every slicer and every type of, entry-level consumer 3D printer and prosumer like my Raise 3D over there. This is really just to get you guys thinking about it, give you the basic component parts that you need so that you can get out there and start printing yourself. Because that's really the most important part about getting 3D printing, is getting out there and starting to print parts. Because you learn a lot more about how everything's supposed to work when you're doing the work. So to start 3D printing, you really only need 3 basic components. 1, you need a printer. That makes sense, right? You need the thing that makes the stuff. So you need a 3D printer. That can be something like this here on my desk, which is a Monoprice Select Mini V2 or V2 Mini or something like that. You can get it on Amazon. You also need printing material. Let me get that real quick. So this in my hand is a spool of white PLA. This is some Raise 3D brand PLA that I got with my Pro 2 Plus. But it'll all look pretty much like this. I have some black PLA over here, which is a different brand you can get off of Amazon for like 18 bucks a spool or something like that. And it'll all come in a certain diameter that's just determined by your printer. Some printers, like all my printers, run on 1.75 millimeters, but some printers are 2.85, I think is the other one. It comes in a spool like this. Most spools for common desktop style printers will run 1 kilogram in size, and you can get pretty decent spools for like 20 bucks in a lot of different colors. So you're gonna need material. A note on material real quick: don't overspend on material when you're starting out, because you have to figure out how to design stuff to print, and the easiest way to do that is with your cheap PLA material. It prints, there's some differences between materials, and some materials can be more complicated to print. When you're just starting to learn, start with PLA. No reason to buck the mold here on this sort of stuff. You can get pretty good functional parts, even good like switch gear and things you can print with PLA if you really want to. So definitely just start with PLA till you get a handle on it, and then start printing with materials, some more complicated materials, nylons, ABSs, ASAs, that sort of thing. And the last physical component that you'll need to start 3D printing, a computer of some sort. Now, you don't have to have a laptop. People print off desktops. Laptops are just easier because you can carry them around. Some printers work better when they're connected to a computer versus running off a little like USB stick, for example. Some printers, like my Raise 3D, you can run them off Wi-Fi, so I could send files to the printer via my Wi-Fi router. But you're gonna need a computer, because 3D printing is all about taking a virtual part in a certain file type and converting it into something that the machine can read and then use it to spit out real parts. So to get printing, if all you want to do is print stuff, all you need on this here computer is something called a slicer. So a slicer is like your translation program. It's what takes your solid file, your electronic file that would come out of like a CAD program, or you can download off places like Thingiverse, and it translates that into G-code, which is what machines like 3D printers or CNC milling machines, basically anything that's run via like coordinate systems and that sort of stuff, runs on G-code. So you're gonna need that translation software, and there's some pretty good free ones out there. I use Simplify 3D because it interfaces really well with my Raise 3D, because it's made by the same people and it's all made to be all harmonious. But there's some other really good ones out there as well. And that's pretty much it to get started. Now, a slicer, a computer to put the slicer on, and a 3D printer with some PLA will really get you started. But if you're looking to take the next step in your home garage, you need something a little bit better, not even better. I would say you need something a little bit more capable than just the small little monoprice that I have over there, and at least one more computer program to really take advantage of the power that 3D printing offers you. But if you want to build consequential parts in the motorsports world, you're going to need a little bit more capability. You're going to need to be able to build parts that can take UV from like light, for example. Parts that are exterior to your car, or parts that'll be under sun a bunch, and you don't want them to be yellow or degrade. You're going to want to be able to build parts that are tough, so they can take impacts, they don't just snap and break. You want stuff that's stiff, stuff that'll hold its shape. And you want to be able to make parts that other people haven't made. Part of the real strength of 3D printing is the ability to customize the solution to your problem. And that's really what 3D printing lets you do. It lets you build the specific bracket you need to hold your brake lines in place for you. But to do that, you need to be able to adjust part files, not just grab them off the internet and go send them. Which leads us to the two upgrades that I would suggest. One upgrade is a CAD program. You're going to want some sort of CAD program to really take advantage of the technology. I personally use a CAD program called SolidWorks, but there are some pretty good free ones. So after a CAD program, you really need to consider upping the level of your 3D printer a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit, in order to make consequential parts in a motorsports arena. So there's two things that will essentially limit your ability to build useful parts in motorsports with a motorsports setting, and that is build volume, which essentially, how big a part can you build? What box does your part need to fit in? So my Monoprice Select V2 Mini over there has a roughly 5x5x5 inch build volume. So every part it has to make has to fit within a cube that's 5 inches by 5 inches by 5 inches. And that's cool for small parts. I've printed hood release pull pins. I've printed there's switch gear. You can do a lot of cool stuff with small parts. You can print switches or switch panels, things like that. But you're really limited on functional parts, or more so things like if I wanted to build some inspection tooling, for instance, I'd be limited on the size of the pieces I could print. So I might have to print 30 parts, where on something like this, with a 12 by 12 by 24, so 12 inches on each side and 24 inches tall, I could print one piece, right? So it can change both how you design your parts and how many pieces and how hard it is to put together. The second thing that's going to hold you back in a motorsports arena is materials. So my Monoprice Select V2 Mini, great PLA print. Theoretically, the hot end and the heated bed are capable of printing other better materials, but I wouldn't really. Most of the useful materials that I would want to print on a thing either produce fumes, so I want something that's enclosed, or are very susceptible to heat warpage. So in that case, you want a heated enclosure, kind of like this one here. So there's a couple considerations there. You don't have to go too much. Even something like a Prusa i3, Mark III, whatever it is. So we're not talking about increasing your budget too much, especially if you're trying to use this in your home garage. Please don't go out and spend $10,000 on 3D printer stuff, because I mean you've got to actually utilize it in order to make it worth it. But if you spend $600 or $700 on a 3D printer, you can drastically increase your capabilities without throwing an entire bank account at a product. So those would be my 2 suggestions. So to recap, things that are required for you to have: you need a computer, you need a slicer, and you need a printer with 3D printer material in it. So what I would suggest for those of you looking to make car parts, motorcycle parts, functional parts that are relatively sizable, upgrade your printer to a middle entry level Prusa i3, Mark III, whatever they're called, and get yourself a CAD program. There are free CAD programs, there's web-based CAD programs. You don't have to buy them necessarily. And you also don't need a super powerful laptop for some of that sort of stuff. Because I went through school in the mid-2000s doing SolidWorks, full-blown SolidWorks on a laptop like this, which I'm not even sure has USB 2, to be honest. So that's a quick overview on how to get into 3D printing, the bog standard basic parts you need, and some minor suggestions for improvements if you're going to go make car or motorcycle parts. So thanks for watching us here at Make It and Break It. My name's Andrew. If you like this video, comment below if you have questions, if you want me to talk about specific things, and I'm keeping paying attention to all these comments. And if we get a specific comment that goes through this entire video series, or is a series of comments, I'll address them a few episodes down the road when I do like a FAQ style video. So if you like what we're doing here or in our motorsports builds, we have a Ute conversion going on a Chrysler 300C. We've got an RX-8 race car that we're currently working on, and other stuff where we integrate old style standard fabrication techniques with some of our newfangled technological stuff. Go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell like button so you get notified when we post new videos, and thanks for watching. Again, my name's Andrew. This is Make It and Break It, where we do a lot of projects, we answer a lot of questions, but the main question we aim to answer on any project is, why not build it? I'll catch you guys later. You're going to need to be able to build